Hi. Hey guys. So here I am, as promised. I am here on this Saturday night to answer your questions. Hi, Carol. Oh, we're not covering anything with the birth certificates or the straw man, Social Security. We're not covering that today. Today is about funding your trust. Not your birth certificate trust, not the SESTA KV trust. Funding your trust with your property. So that is the topic of tonight. Completing the supreme title process. So if you guys want to go ahead and start putting your questions in there, I'm here to answer your questions. So what I've basically done, some of you guys are new to following me, but what I've basically done is I owned my home. I did not have a mortgage on it when I did this. So that is important information. I'll explain why in a second. But what I did was I sold my home to my foreign trust for 10 silver dollars. Okay? I sold my home to my trust for 10 silver dollars. And those 10 silver dollars, I'm just pulling up some stuff for you guys. Those 10 silver dollars, let me make sure. 10 silver. Those 10 silver dollars, that is the face value. So I'm about to flip my camera. Let me see. I don't want to pause it and make a mistake. Okay. Well, let me just turn my camera around. Okay. So this right here is exactly what I purchased. You guys can see that, right? So this right here says 10 silver dollars. This is the exact website, is jmbullion.com. And these are the coins that I purchased. All right. So they're sold out at the moment, but I paid about $9.60 for them. So face value, they are $10 face value, but since they're 90% silver, they will cost you about $9.50. Now these are the coins, the type of coins that you're going to use when you're transferring the property. I will say that nobody's really checking to see the coins or anything like that. I'm just the type of person that if I'm presenting that I did something, I actually did it. So I bought the coins, and then in my trust, it's a family trust. So we had a trust meeting, basically. So when you have a trust meeting, it's basically called like trust minutes, the recording of the meeting. So these very same coins, what you're going to do is you're going to basically like pre-fund your trust. Once you establish your trust, And let me back up a little bit. The type of trust that I did this with was an express foreign irrevocable trust. Now, you could do this with a domestic express irrevocable trust. I recommend doing it with an irrevocable trust. But if you're going to do it with an irrevocable trust, this should be the house that you want to live in, want to pass to your children. This is not a transaction that you want to do and then wiggle out of it, because the trust is irrevocable. And because it's irrevocable, there's going to be tax benefits, and it's going to be easier to stand your ground when it comes to tax things later. The whole reason I did all of this with funding the trust with silver, transferring the silver to buy the house, then funding the trust with the house, adding the land patents, the whole reason I did all of that was because I don't want to pay property taxes. And you hear people out there saying, if you have a land patent, you don't have to pay property taxes. But they don't show you how to enforce that. And I didn't really see anyone out there enforcing that. So I basically took a few different processes and trial and error, came up with my own deed, my own acknowledgement of the deed. Because when you get a deed, I have videos about this on my TikTok. When you get a deed, it only has the person that sold the property to you on there. Only they signed the deed. But you need to sign it because it's supposed to be a bilateral contract. So we're going to make it a bilateral contract when we do it. Because the title companies, I feel they have us doing it wrong. So doing it the way I do it and the way that you're going to do it, I don't use Rob Gibson in any of my processes. I don't know if you've been able to find land patents with his process, but I've skimmed through his stuff, but I don't use it because I discovered how to find land patents for myself before I even knew he existed. And I have free videos on my YouTube channel with a step-by-step guide of how to find your land patent using information from your county appraiser website. So you didn't miss anything. We just started. So the whole reason I'm doing all of this is to get off the county tax roll and to own my property to the point where nobody can tell me anything. I don't even want to have a permit or anything like that. Now, in my case, I do have an HOA, so there's that's a whole nother thing that I need to tackle. But I don't want the county having anything to do with my property. I want to be completely autonomous, and I don't want anything to do with them. Once we pay for our home, we should not be having to deal with this. A lot of us think like, okay, you have a mortgage, but once you pay it, you're good. No, they don't treat you any different. I bought my home outright. I never had a mortgage, and it didn't really help me much at all. You claim homestead. If you live in your home, you basically let them know that you live there. But even if you pay your house outright, they're still, taxing you, paying $5,000, $7,000 every year in taxes for a house that you've already paid. Imagine paying $5,000 for a home and then still getting a bill every year and having to ask permission to get solar panels or change your windows. It's ridiculous. So that was my motivation when I started going down the rabbit hole. I discovered Rob Ryder, and he speaks a lot about contracts. And that's where I discovered the whole issue with the title company giving you a deed that is unilateral. Your contract has no signature from you, right? So I developed this whole system, this document, and it's an instrument really. And when you have an instrument, like think about it like a sword. You can use a sword to serve you cake, and you can use a sword to chop your hand off. So I don't want to I'm doing the live because I don't want to just give people this document and not give them the information behind it. I don't want you to use this document and then be stuck in a jam and then, feeling like I led you astray. I don't want to do that. This document is best used if you own your house outright. You have a trust that has been established. Now, when I say established, I mean you have a trust name, you have an EIN, you have a trust seal. Even if you haven't funded the trust, that's fine. That's what you're going to do with these coins. If you just got in here, these are the coins. So this is jmbullion.com. I've posted about them on my TikTok, so you can just scroll through and you'll find it. You don't have to use this website. This is just the website I use. AppMex is also good, but this one is a little cheaper, and I've been buying from them for about 15 years. So you're going to use the coins to fund your trust, okay? Because you can't buy a house, like your trust can't buy a house if it doesn't have money to buy the house. So you give the coins to the trust. You're going to have the grantor of the trust. It could be you, it could be your spouse. The grantor is going to give the coins to the trust as a gift. It's an irrevocable gift, okay? Then you're going to do the trust minutes, saying it was a meeting, everyone was there, like you were a witness. If it's your spouse or you're the person and your spouse is a witness or someone is a witness, they saw you gift the coins to the trust. You just sign it. I would say notarizing it is probably a good idea. And then you use these coins to essentially buy the property. That's where the deed comes in. So the contract between the trust and you, right? The trust is buying the property from you. The contract is the deed. And a deed is usually 2 or 3 pages. In my case, the deed is 2 pages, and the 3rd page is the acknowledgement of the deed, where the trust is going to sign and say, we've received it, we agree to the terms, and we acknowledge that this transaction happened. How do you get a private bank account? That's not the topic of tonight. I do have a trust bank account, but I bank with a regular bank for my living trust. So I have 3 trusts. In this case, we're talking about the express trust. We are not talking about a revocable living trust. Now, if you have a mortgage, this is the main question that I get. If you have a mortgage and you want to sell your property to your trust, what is going to happen? So there is something called a due on sale clause, okay? Most of your mortgages, the bank will put a little clause in there saying, if you sell your property, if you happen to have the deed or, you have the authority to sell it, if you sell it, they want all of the money that is remaining on that mortgage to be paid immediately. That's the due on sale clause in your mortgage. But there is an act. You see here it says due on sale. Okay? There is an act, the Garn-Saint-Germain Act. Let's just click on this. So this is a good website. They have a lot of information, 12 USC section 1701. This act prevents them from enforcing that due on sale clause. Everybody screenshot this. Let me go back. So you guys could just screenshot this. This act prevents the bank from exercising that due on sale clause because you are not selling the property to a third party. You are selling it to yourself through the trust because you will still be the beneficial owner of that property. Now, there's a little bit of how would I say? a little bit of lack of clarity if you can do this with an irrevocable trust. I'm not sure why there's not a clear answer on that. Most people have a living revocable trust. So because that is the norm, that is what most lawyers are familiar with. And when they speak about this information with the St. Germain Act, that's usually the one that they deal with. And if you have a living revocable trust, then this act will absolutely cover you. But when you ask, because I like to call around, speak to different lawyers when they have free consultations, and I speak to the lawyers and I ask them questions to get a better understanding on all of this so that I can go back and perfect my process. Because we all know, I just spoke to a lawyer 2 days ago. She wanted a $3,000 retainer and an hourly pay after that to create a foreign trust for me. Something I did in 1 day. Now, being on the phone with the IRS and being on hold to get your 9-8 is a pain in the butt. But she wanted to charge me $3,000 just to hire her. And then hourly after that. Not even to draft the paperwork. So I was like, okay, I'm just playing along, asking questions, right? So there's a little bit of confusion on if this act is going to cover you with an express trust. I'm still trying to get clarity on that for you guys. It wasn't something that I had to deal with just because I had already paid my home off. But I want you guys to know that there could be a due on sale clause triggered. And you need to do your due diligence. Like, this is why I'm doing the live, because I don't want to just give you the document. You transfer your home to trust, and then the bank is like, hey, you transferred the property. Now you got to pay us, whatever's left on your mortgage. I don't want you to be hit with that surprise. I don't want to be responsible for that. So that's why I'm telling you guys this now. But using the silver is also a key component because you're using real money. Remember, the dollar is not real money. It doesn't exist. So they're treating all your transactions as a pending balance. Even if you pay $500,000 for your house in cash, they're still treating the transaction like you owe money because you didn't pay money. Because that's not real money. But even if you use $10 and it's going to cost you $9.50 to buy it, like I was saying earlier, it's going to cost you $9.50 to buy the $10 worth of silver dollars because they're 90% silver. But even if you use $10 face value of silver, that is more valuable than using $500,000 in cash, because it's actually money. So what is happening when you use silver is you are using constitutional money. It puts the whole transaction in a different jurisdiction. Now, when you add the layer of the trust being irrevocable, no judge, this is why I stay away from the revocable trust when it comes to property, because a judge can just order you to revoke it. The trust is revocable, so he won't have a problem. But when the trust is irrevocable, there's no way. Even if somehow you ended up in front of a judge and he was to say that, like, there's no way. So you got the silver. It's a constitutional purchase. It's being paid with real money. You have an irrevocable express trust, and it's foreign. And then I added the extra sauce because I'm the land patent lady, right? So since I had my land patent, I did a land patent claim, and then I attached a copy of the land patent. So I had about 7 documents because I had things notarized and that kind of thing. I had 7 documents and a cover sheet. And I had already been to the county recorder. I tried to record my certificate of trust, and they wouldn't record it because there was not property attached. But when I went there the second time to transfer the property, I put my certificate of trust in the transaction. So if you were to go to the my county website and look up my property and click on my documents, you're going to see my certificate of trust. You're going to see the deed, which is 2 pages, the acknowledgement of the deed, the land patent, the acknowledgement of the land patent for the trust accepting the land patent, and you're going to see all the notary documents. That's what you want to do, because a lot of the times the county recorder does not want to record your documents if there's not a deed or some kind of property involved. So when it's time to record an actual deed, that's your time to put in all your documents. Now, I wouldn't say to start putting affidavits in there of your status and all that. Like, don't go in there with all that. That doesn't really, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. At that level, it doesn't. And for the transaction, it might not even help you. And to be honest, the county wouldn't even know if my trust is foreign yet. The IRS knows. Because when you record your document, the certificate of trust, my certificate of trust, I have 2 certificates of trust. I have one that was notarized in the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. And I have the copy of that in case the IRS ever tries to question that my trust is foreign. It's my husband's nephew that's my trustee. And then I had another one notarized in Orange County where I live. I live in Florida. So that's the one that I recorded because we want it to be notarized by someone that they acknowledge, right? So I went in there with my 7 documents and I had them recorded. When I walked out of there, I almost couldn't believe what I did. I claimed the land patent, transferred the property to my trust using silver, recorded my certificate of trust with all the notary stamps. And then they just gave me this receipt. And that is the receipt that is pinned on my TikTok. The very, very first pinned video is the video showing you the receipt I got. And it says trust funding, classification D, because I used a deed, right? And then about 10 days later, I ordered certified copies of everything I did. When I got the certified copies, I was just kind of like, oh, this is exactly the copy that they gave me, because you pay to record the documents. They put the amount of the consideration for the property, and it showed $10 because that's the face value that I put on there. So let me just show you. I'm talking so much about this. I know you guys are like, where's the document? So I'm still perfecting the document because like mine is done, but I need to make it to where you guys can edit it. So I have it right here and I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. It's in my case, it's a warranty deed. Everything in red is going to be editable. So you could make this a quick claim. That's another thing too. Since I've been working on this for almost 7 months, I thought of everything. Most people do this using a quit claim. When I got my property, I got a warranty deed. And I found out that a quit claim just means you're going to quit claiming that it's yours. I found out that a warranty deed is the highest type of deed, pretty much. It comes with the warranty. It is higher than a quit claim deed. So I was like, if I have a warranty deed, why would I, demote my deed to a quit claim? So I didn't change my warranty deed to a quit claim when I gave it to the trust. I kept my warranty deed. But I found out that no matter what kind of deed you have, if you want to give the warranty to the deed that everything is clear, you can give the trust a warranty deed. So that's how it's going to be when you get the documents. I would keep it at warranty deed. You can do quit claim if that's what you're familiar with and that's what you want to do. Then you could go ahead and do that. So this space here is where the county is going to put their recording. They run it through a machine and it has the recording numbers. So when I got my certified recording, it was the same thing that they gave me when I paid, and they just gave me a printout, showing that it was recorded on the record, on the county court record, right? But when I got the copy in the mail, it was the same thing. It was just in a sticker form instead of a printed form. But I was like, whatever. It's a certified copy, so fine. I just wanted to see what a certified copy would look like. It was $10, so I paid for that. So about 10 business days later, I went on my county website and the trust was the owner of my property. When I put my address in there, it populated, and then they spelled the name of the trust wrong. And I was like, no. So I called them and I was like, hey, you guys, I don't know, somebody in there is dyslexic, like 2 letters are like flipped. Can you please handle this? And the next day they fixed it. And that was confirmation for anyone who wants to question. They can just go on my county website and they'll see that my house is in a trust. So that let me know I did everything right. So I'm like, no lawyer, no agent, no title company, nothing. I did this myself. And I was like, you know what? Anybody can do this. We don't know that we can do this. I saved thousands of dollars for my family doing this by myself. And I was like, no, I have to share this. Now, as you guys know, I have all kinds of hurricane damage and I'm fighting with my insurance company because they dropped me right before the hurricane. So I cannot offer you guys this document for free. Y'all know I've been on TikTok for like 8 months and I just give everything for free. This time I can't do that. This is extremely valuable and I need a new roof. So I cannot offer it for free. I'm so sorry. But this document is extremely valuable. Now I need to know how you guys want this to go down because I'm trying to give it to you in a way that is like the most useful for you. Do you guys want the deed, the acknowledgement of the deed, and then like some kind of way for me to explain it to you? Because you might need me to like walk you through this. I don't know. Like you're going to need witnesses and then you're going to have the county notarize it. And then this one is the acknowledgement of the deed. And you need to have your trust seal ready to go. So this is where your seal is going to go. It might be the grantor, the trust protector, and the trustee. And then these are like warnings that I'm going to put for you guys and like instructions. So I'm working on it. I don't know if you guys are just going to want the document and you take off running with it, or if you guys want the document and like time with me or like a class and the document. And do you guys want the land patent acceptance, the claiming for the land patent? Do you want it included? So put a 1 in the chat if you want the land patent acceptance included with the document. Yes. Okay, there we go. We got a 1. Okay, because I was going to like sell it separate. Because I was thinking, like, if somebody pays for this and then they can't use the land patent claim, they might feel sad. They might be like, oh, I paid for this and I can't use it. So I didn't want that to happen. But it looks like you guys want it. That's how I did it. And then you're going to want to put your certificate of trust in this. Do not miss out on that. So that's the kind of stuff, like, your certificate of trust is not a part of my, template here, but I'm going to put that in the instructions. That's the time to record your trust on the record. So no one can ever say that you don't have an established trust. No judge, no one. And then I haven't done my UCC because I was trying to be rock solid before I did anything. Now everything's pretty much set. But now the county does their like yearly appraisal of properties every year. And they just so happen to be doing the appraisal the same week that I did this. So a few days after I did all of this, I get a letter saying we're doing our yearly appraisals and here's the new appraisal for your property. And the number is super high. And that's how they, like, that percentage of whatever they appraise your property for, that's what you pay the taxes on. So I called them and I was like, hold up. This can't be the number. And you guys didn't include the sale. And they were like, no, well, this number was generated before the sale. I said, exactly. So that means you need to reappraise my property. And I got, on that letter at the bottom, they say you have until like September 19th to like request for them to formally do a reappraisal. And this was like the 11th. So I was like, I'm not going to take a chance. I put in a petition with the court to reappraise my property. And then the appraiser's office is called the Value Adjustment Board. So they're like above the appraiser, but they kind of are still the same thing. The appraiser calls me and they're like, hey, I see you put a petition in. What's going on? It's this Italian guy, but he's just trying to figure out like who I am, what I know. And he's looking at my paperwork like, who is this lady? It's just me. But he's like, who is this person? I see silver. I see a trust. I see all this stuff going on. Who is this person? So he's trying to feel me out. And what I figured out is that he's going to be the person going against me in this hearing. So he's the appraiser. I'm the person trying to make sure they reappraise my property. But they have an appraisal calculator on their website. So I use their appraisal calculator. Like, no lie, I'm putting a letter together right now. So you guys can see that it's like no cap at all. They have a calculator on the website. And where is this thing? Okay. So I'm putting it as part of my evidence. So they have a calculator on the website. And I put my numbers in the calculator, right? And I'm like, okay, let me not show my address. If I sold my property for $10, right? You see the $10 right there? Then the ad valorem tax, this is me putting my evidence together, would be $0. You see it? So I used their own calculator against them. And then this is like, this is non-ad valorem taxes. It's just $456 or $465. That's something else. That's like to keep the account open. There's a fee. But look, it says $0. If this property was sold for $10, the tax would be $0, right? So I screenshotted my results from using their calculator and I'm adding it as an exhibit. Okay, look, Exhibit C. I am legitimately like about to come to this hearing. They think it's just a hearing for me to say like, hey, do you mind like just seeing the value of my property and, bringing it down a little because the taxes are a little high? No, I'm coming to this, letting them know they have no jurisdiction over my property, not only because it's in an irrevocable trust, but this property was paid for in full with silver, and this trust is out of your jurisdiction. According to the IRS, this trust is classified as foreign. It's out of your jurisdiction any which way you want to put it. Okay? Plus, your very same website, the calculator on your website agrees with me. I can't argue with that calculator. The math is mathing. So the whole reason I'm doing all of this is to get off the tax roll. I hear a lot of people talking about, if you get the land patent, you're going to get off the tax roll. I'm doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down on it. I also added the land patent in there, okay? And I got the certified land patent from the Bureau of Land Management with the president's signature on it. And it's notarized by Virginia, which is the real capital of America, okay? There is no which way they're going to get out of this. I am fighting tooth and nail to get my property off of the tax roll. I have been working on this for a little over 6 months. But I want you guys to do this shit too. You guys can do this. I don't see why you can't do this. You just record all your stuff and that's it. They cannot argue with the record. This is why they give you a hard time when you go in there and try to record stuff. Because when you put stuff on the record, that's it. And then they sent me a letter like 2 days ago telling me like, oh, just to let you know, like everything that you submit to us as evidence, you have to submit to the appraiser. And by the way, your case could end up being, available to the public. I'm like, I'm going to be case law that people are going to be looking up for years to come because nobody has done what I am doing right now. I took a little bit of everybody's process and I did my own research and I've made my own phone calls to lawyers and my friends in real estate and just what I've been researching for years about silver. I've been buying bullion for years. I feel like there is no way I'm not leaving any wiggle room for these people to get out of this. I am not staying on that tax roll. And shout out to Avery because he's basically like been my teacher through the second half of this journey. He's the author of the 0%. He's the one that gave me the idea of how to use the silver. He's helped other clients get off the tax roll, and he's also here in Florida. I'm in Florida. He's originally from California, so he knows the laws there, and he's familiar with how it works in Florida. He's super, super busy, so he can't be like one-on-one with me. He just kind of gives the information and just like figure it out, which is good because now I have a really good understanding. So I took his class freshman to senior and I graduated and I finished all his courses. He has a Patreon. It's like $90 a month. I recommend everybody go and, learn. So getting this knowledge is not cheap. These lawyers want to charge you $3,000 just to sign up to talk to them. But I get all the free consultations that I can. You guys seen me before on other lives where I tell you I called lawyers that do land trusts. So I learned the whole tea on land trust months ago. So I put that information in here, right? I have been on this. I don't do the 1099 and all of this stuff. Like, let other people do that. Maybe that's what they do. I'm starting to understand discharging now. And I'm also getting into the information about how to use the Federal Reserve. And I have a Treasury Direct account. So I'm getting into that stuff now. I've already done W-4 sandwiches. So I'm waiting for my money. But for the most part, this is my thing. Everybody else could teach you how to discharge and all this other stuff. But like when it comes to transferring your property and getting off the tax roll, like I'm trying to be that person. I know that what I'm doing right now is not for everyone. It's a very particular type of clientele that has property and has their trust ready to go and is able to buy silver. But if you're not ready yet, that doesn't mean this information will not apply to you as you become more sophisticated in the processes. This will apply to you one day at one point or to one of your family members or if you inherit. This will apply to you eventually, God willing. So everybody pray for me. This hearing is coming up soon. They're still like pushing it back and not telling me a day. So I'm just waiting for the actual date. And as they are taking their sweet ass time, I am adding evidence. So today I decided I'm gonna add evidence about the storm damage that I had. So I got like stuff up on my roof and pictures, and I'm piling it on. I'm not paying these people no more money. I am done with these people. So, what is it? Sister QV Trust? Is that what The question is, so you could use this, you can use this with more silver or like gold, but you don't want to do that. So they have basically like brackets of like tiers basically of how much you pay. Anything over 99, no, anything over $100 goes into a bracket where you're now going to start paying tax. So you could sell your trust using 100 silver dollars if you wanted to, but I don't see a benefit to that. If you use 10, you're staying well within that bracket where they can't play with you. Another thing that really just drove me crazy when I found it out from Rob Ryder is I was looking at the deed that I got when I bought my house, right? And I was like, why does it say $10 here? I was just staring at my deed and I'm like, $10. It says that the house is $10. And then at the bottom, it says consideration, right? And then it's consideration. It shows what we actually paid. But it said $10. Basically, like the whole thing said $10. And then it said consideration. And then they taxed me on the consideration amount. So I was like, what is consideration? So I started looking it up. Consideration is a gift. I was like, the nerve of these people. They are not taxing me on the $10. They are taxing me on the gift. Let's say you wanted to buy like a car from someone, right? And then you pay them the $10 for the car, but somebody else has $10, and then you're like, bro, don't sell it to them, sell it to me. My mom makes amazing cakes or something, right? Like you sweeten the deal with like a gift. So they're saying that what you pay for the house is a gift, and the value of the house is $10. So that was another reason. She's right there. She's confirming. Yes, mine says $10. Everybody that owns a property, go look at your deed. Take a magnifying glass if you have to. Go look at your deed. It says you paid $10 for your property. And your property is already paid for, because when you start looking at your land patent, you realize that the entirety of the land and any structures built on it is basically built on land that doesn't belong to the people building the structures, right? You're buying the house, you're not buying the land. But the way I did it, I owned the land and the house. Matter of fact, my land patent is 80 acres. So I don't want to get too ambitious, but I could take over this HOA if I wanted to. They would have to prove that they had the authority to purchase this land in the first place. Now, one could say like, oh, but that land patent also covers your neighbors and whatever. So I don't want to infringe on my neighbors. So that's why, like, if you claim a land patent that's 100 acres and there's other people on it, your parcel number, which I don't like the word parcel number, your address and your legal description, all that is legal. It's not lawful. If you look at the land patents, the coordinates and everything for your land is nothing like what they put for your information. Like the plat coordinates, the meridians, the lines on the map is like where you're sitting right now. It's the coordinates of where you're sitting right now in the world. But what they give you as your land description is their legal description for why they own the piece of land, the building, the house that you're sitting in. They basically made a whole fictitious thing. It's almost like the birth certificates all over again. But the land patents have those coordinates. That's why it has the township and the meridian and the range and all of that. I'm damn good at finding land patents. If you have those numbers, it's easy to find. And for those of you that are new, I have an absolutely free YouTube video with this step-by-step on how to find your land patents. That Ron Gibson stuff, like I don't have the patience to sit down and read. I don't. I love to watch videos and then immediately get to action, right? So I just basically did my own little research, figured out how to find the land patents. I did this in like 2 days. Right after I had my son, I was like sitting at home. I had just given birth and I just took on this whole idea about finding land patents. And I found it and I was like, oh, I could do this for people. And I've found at least 9 people's patents already. Some of you are probably in here. If I found your land patent, say something in the chat. I found like 9 people's land patents already. If you have the coordinates, yes, I do have Cash App. My Cash App is Amila V. I put it in my stories today. So this document is not going to be free because it's worth a lot, but this is making history. Okay? Like after I am dead and gone, my son is going to be like, yeah, that's my mom. And your kids are going to be like, yes, my mom, my dad did this and nobody's going to take this land from me. What about land patents? What's the question about land patents? If you can locate your land patent, put it in there. Now, not every state has land patents on the BLM system. Okay? BLM is usually the Bureau of Land Management is where a lot of the land patents are housed, and that's where I access them. That's the database that I access to get people's land patents, and then you order it. It's $2.50. There is no reason why you should not be trying to get your land patent. They will send you a certified, sealed, and notarized land patent for your land for $2.50. It's not expensive. The problem is finding is a pain in the butt. If you call them and you tell them like, hey, this is my address, can you find my land patent? Some people have told me that they have that service. It's not cheap, but you can do this yourself. If you are a competent adult, get on your appraiser website the way I show you on YouTube and try to find your land plat. Now, your land plat is where all your information is. Most of the time, it will have the numbers on there. I have found some states make it very difficult. I had a guy, I found one of his land patents, but he had like 3 other ones that he wanted me to find. And California, they have like an updated land plat where they hide those numbers, and they know why they're hiding those numbers. Because California is very controversial, kind of / Mexico, but not really. There are land patents for Mexico also on the BLM because, California is really Mexico. They just took it over. So for whatever reason, you can see all of that on the maps. I love maps, like all the map numbers on there, you plug them into BLM. And you will see all the old maps, the land plats. On my YouTube video, I'll also explain to you, like you'll see that sometimes it's the land survey. If you guys own your property, you'll probably know about like your house survey. I show you the measurements and all that. It could be the old survey for your property that has all the information on there. Land patents for Mexico housing. I'm not a Mexican citizen. Is the land in Mexico, you're saying? Well, I don't know the laws in Mexico. I don't know how that works. But there is something I do know about Mexico, which is why it's not my plan B country, because I was looking for a plan B country in case, shit goes down. I was considering Mexico. The problem is, if you are, I'm just giving you guys all kinds of information tonight. If you are not a Mexican citizen, you cannot own land or a house in Mexico. What happens is they let you purchase it, but it goes into a trust that is owned by the government. And after 50 years, then they basically, like, you can't pass it to your kids. They take it back. You get to enjoy the land for 50 years, and then they take it from you. So I was like, I don't know. That's not going to work for me. especially me being me. That's not going to work for me. So you would either have to have someone that is Mexican in your family that can finesse it, or become a dual citizen. Honestly, being an American citizen, according to, the whole thing, is not that great. You can do banking here without being a citizen. You don't need a social to open a bank account. You don't need a social to get a loan. Like, honestly, like, when people come here and they're so hell-bent on becoming a citizen, at this point, knowing what I know, I'm like, why? But if you're naturalized and you're here, I'm going to give you this advice because I helped my husband and his 2 children come to America and become naturalized. But they've been here I've been married almost 10 years. So they just got their naturalization like this year, all of them, right? Immediately after you're naturalized, they tell you to go to Social Security and let Social Security know that you're a citizen. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I had them fill out their SS5, and where it says citizen, I didn't have them check that box. I had them check other. I had them sign UCC 1-308. I had them enforce everything that we enforce with their naturalization documents. So long as they never go and declare themselves to be a citizen, then they are just naturalized. And as far as the correcting your status, people are selling all these different documents. You know how you correct your status? The passport application, the DS-11. And if you don't have a birth certificate, that doesn't even matter. I corrected my status and I didn't put my birth certificate because my name is spelled wrong. And it was spelled right on my previous passport. So I didn't want to go and mess it up, giving them my birth certificate that is spelled wrong. So you use a DS-10. Okay, for whatever reason, even if and I did my passport in court just to see how that is, so I can let you guys know, you can do your passport in court. So that was really fascinating. It wasn't really much different than doing it at the USPS, because depending on what side of the post office, that is a court. For those that know, it is a court. But you can do your passport in court. So I'm out here trying all these things so that I can come back and let you guys know. Now, I did mess up one thing where I thought I messed up and I was panicking over it. But then I found out that I didn't mess up at all. I messed up and it was in my favor. God always favors me. I went and I recorded my trust in probate. But in Florida, they have 2 ways you can record your trust in probate. You can record your trust as just a trust filing, right? But that one was $400. And then they had another one that was a notice of trust. So I was like, okay, I'm just letting them know, notice of trust. I'm giving them notice that I have a trust. No, that's not what that was. So the lady kept asking me if somebody died. And I was like, why does she keep asking me that? Maybe it's probate. So people die and people come here to, collect whatever when somebody dies. So that's why she's asking me that. But on my way home, I had like a feeling I need to double check what I did. So I went on the Constitution of Florida and I just put in the search, whatever state you live in, go look at your Constitution. There will be a website that has the Constitution with a search bar. You can put anything you want in there and it'll show you whatever that is. What is the meaning? So I put notice of trust in there and I almost died. Notice of trust means that the grantor, which in this case is my husband, has died. And I was like, oh my God, did I just tell probate that my husband died? Did I just kill my trust? But I'm out here testing the waters and trying things so that I can be helpful to you guys, right? So I went and I did that and I was panicking. I hit up Avery. I'm like, Avery, he's like, nah, you good, because there's no death certificate attached. But I wasn't cool with that. Like, it was a holiday and they were closed and I had to wait till the next day to figure out what I did. So I called her and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I did this. And she's like, yeah. I wrote down that nobody died. and I put it under certificate and not death. So it's just gonna sit there. And that's what he said. It's just gonna sit there. So I was like, wait, did I record my trust without paying the $400? I was like, look at God. But that day started out weird for me anyway, because when I got to the courthouse, I went through the metal detectors and I had a taser in my bag. And they locked down the whole thing and treated me like a criminal. They were like, code red. They locked the whole thing down. And I was just like, oh, what do I have in my bag? I'm like, I know I ain't got the strap in that bag. That's my baby bag. What do I have in there? It's pepper spray. I thought it was pepper spray. I had a taser in my bag. And I wear a hijab. It just be looking real not like it needs to look. So I was like, I'm a hijabi. They're yelling out code red. I got my baby in my arm. It's his birthday. It was my son's birthday on the 4th. I'm in there like, yeah, it's my baby's birthday. The security was mad cool. The vibes in this courthouse was popping. I went to the other courthouse to do my passport, and they were like shitty. But everything went smooth that day for me. But they were like really shitty. It was I think it was Osceola County. This one, they were super nice. I was like, yeah, it's my son's birthday. I had the sheriff singing happy birthday to him. I had everybody vibing with me. And then they're thinking that I'm using the whole it's my baby's birthday to sneak weapons into the courthouse. I was like, oh my God, am I gonna freaking get arrested here? And they're like, ma'am. And I completely like stepped forward like I'm the guilty one because my husband's with me. And I feel like I'm a female. I'm here looking like the Virgin Mary. They're going to treat me better than they're going to treat him, and his English is trash. So I'm not going to feed him to the wolves. It's my bag. It's my baby's bag. So I step up and they're like, ma'am, do you have a taser in your bag? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I do have a taser in my bag. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I go to the grocery store at night and I don't feel safe. You guys, I was like, oh my God, we're getting out to a shitty start in this building. I put the video of me going to probate on TikTok. For whatever reason, that video is not doing amazing, but the video is on my TikTok. So I go up there and I'm like, we're getting off to a bad start. And then I go upstairs and say that my husband died by accident. Kind of, sort of, but it ended up working out for me. I was like, I put myself in some crazy situations to test this stuff out for you guys. So, which trust did I record? So I have 3 trusts. I have I'm over here laughing, I'm getting red. I have an irrevocable foreign trust. If you guys want to get your foreign trust, don't be intimidated by it. When I called, I did an Indian accent, but my husband's from Bangladesh, so I do the accent all the time just to be funny. Just call over there, but you want to have your SS4 filled out and like ready to go. And as far as the foreign address, you need a foreign address, but they're not going to send anything there. You just need to know a real address that exists, that it's not like a Hilton or something where they're like, you live at the Hilton in Morocco, really. Like, try to find a family member that could give you an address. They're not going to send anything there. They're not going to check. Even though my address is legit, it's my husband's nephew. They're not going to check, but you want to like have a real address. And they're not going to send anything there because you're going to use an I-postal box anyway. But you can get your 9A and then you can, establish your foreign trust. And then you're going to send the IRS a letter letting them know, hey, this trust is foreign, please confirm. And my letter confirming that I never got to pay taxes, never got to file taxes is on TikTok also. And you send them a letter saying, hey, just confirm that I never have to file. And I'm on 0 file, right? 0% tax. And they'll send you a letter confirming that. And then what you do is after you have your foreign established, you can have whatever amount of trust you want, LLCs, sole proprietorships, copyrights, whatever. And then you use 8832. It's a form. It's a classification form. And you make your foreign the owner of everything that you do. So I have a second trust with the same name. And this formula is from Avery, so I want to give him his credit. This part of it, I added a little bit of other stuff because I have a revocable living trust also. So that part he doesn't teach. But you have a domestic trust that you do online, and you make it the same name as your foreign, and then you just add the word enterprise at the end. And that one is going to be your domestic face when you ever need one for your foreign. And that's the one, Avery's Patreon is 0%. Just like his book, the 0%. And then you're going to use that one for banking. Because what happened to Avery, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, is he had a 9A bank account and they froze it. They shut it down. They shut him down. They took all the bread. And what you're going to do, you can't really show up and say much, because what if your trustee is not there and, you're supposed to have a foreign trustee? I don't know. But basically, they shut him down. They froze his account. And then he came up with the loophole of having that second trust. Avery's TikTok is Avery Show. Avery Show. And then he has Avery Show 2 as his backup account. But, and his book is on Amazon. It's the 0%. It's like a red and white book. So you guys can Google that. 8832 is the IRS document that you're going to use to reclassify your other stuff. Right now, I'm in the process of transferring my LLC into my foreign. But with that, you use the 8832, but then you have work to do on the LLC side. You got to do your articles of organization showing that 100% of the benefit from the LLC is owned by the trust. And then you have to make yourself a manager and not an owner. Because right now I'm the owner of my LLC. You don't want to be the owner. You want to control everything. You want to own nothing. So you want to be the manager of it. And then what I did to make sure that I never have any issues, although my husband's nephew is our foreign trustee, I'm the trust protector. So I'm the one that checks him if he decides to get cute, like they say in casino. like the mafia says, in case they decide to get cute, I'm the one that checks him, right? So I don't even have a position in my trusts, in my foreign trust. My husband's the grantor, his nephew's the trustee, but I'm the trust protector. So I check him. And then for the domestic trust, that's the one you use for banking. That's the more commercial friendly one. And that's your domestic face. And then I have a living revocable trust. The reason that I got that one was so that I can get some W-4 sandwich money. So I used that one to do my Treasury Direct account. And then when I did my W-4 sandwiches, I put my Treasury Direct account as the account that I want the money to go to. Because as you guys know, we have credits, and a commercial bank, like a regular bank like Chase or TD or Bank of America, they cannot accept credits from the Treasury. They can only accept wire transfers and like fiat money, right? So Treasury Direct is the filter that you use to collect the credits and then turn them into cash and then cash out. I haven't done it yet because I haven't received any money from my W-4 sandwiches, but that's what I use for it. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware. Some of you guys know about Felicia Beverly. She's been the one that's been showing all of us how to do the W-4 sandwich. She learned it from Hollywood, from the W-4 chat. I was also in the W-4 chat. I'm familiar with who Hollywood is, but for whatever reason, Felicia was the one that came to us with it. Hollywood is just kind of in and out on Telegram, and she doesn't really go to YouTube. So Felicia showed us all how to do the W-4 sandwich, but Felicia has vanished. We cannot find Felicia. Her YouTube channel, I can't find it. Somebody reposted. You guys share this live. I never remember to say that. Somebody reposted her video, and in the comments, everybody's looking for Felicia. But before she disappeared, I don't think she did anything wrong. I think, maybe they just shut her down. Like, YouTube is always policing. I myself just came out of TikTok jail. So I think that YouTube shut Felicia down. But before that happened, I talked to her because on her YouTube, she had a phone number for a short amount of time that you could text, and you sent her $5 and she sent you the W4 sandwich file. I have the file and I'm giving it to anyone who wants it. If you hit the link in my bio and you join my Telegram group, I have a Telegram group called Supreme Title, which is also the title of this document that I'm going to be selling you guys to go ahead and get started with everything that I did. I have a Telegram group and I'm sending that file to everyone who asked for it. If you guys want to send me donations, that's fine. But since I paid $5 for it, $5 is fine. And I will send you the file so you guys can get your W4 sandwiches sent out. I have no problem sharing that with you. Everything that I've shared for the last almost 8 months, I've done for free. But this document is too much heat. I need a new roof, and I'm going to be selling this particular document. But once you have it, you'll be your own lawyer, your own agent, your own title company, and you can pass this information down to your kids. So my son just got back from the mosque, so he's going to run through that door and get really crazy soon. So before all that happens, let me let you guys go. I hope I answered your questions. If you guys need to get in contact with me, my email is contactamila@gmail.com. And there's a link in my bio with the link to my Telegram. That very same website, I sell products. I'm actually an esthetician, but clearly this is my calling. So people